Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. So I've got a game for you today on Via 3 Protectorate. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 between, well, I say it's TA for life. He's currently named a Thug for life, which I find kind of hysterical, and Fiery, otherwise known as Noob Fried Rice. Before we do that, though, got a quick thing to show you right here. Let me get it up on the screen, and you shall see. The FA Forever client has got a YouTube channel now. This is going to be the infinite wall of windows, but there we go. All right. Forge Alliance Forever has a YouTube channel now. The problem is, number one, there's no content up there because it has not started posting announcement yet, but we need more subscribers. You got to have 500 to be able to rename and do all of the official stuff like a YouTube channel is supposed to be able to do. So basically, we just need to get this number up to 500, and then this channel is going to hold compilations of casts that other people have done, announcements for the client, and different things like that. So if you want to keep up on news for FAF, you want to be subscribed to this channel, and stuff is going to start being posted to that in just a little bit. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this game. Let me reset my settings here. Game capture. All right. And we're back over. Okay, so these guys are very closely matched. We've got a 1700 rank and a 1900 rank-ish. Actually, that rounds up to 1800 if you want to get extremely technical. But this is going to be a Cybern versus Aeon matchup. We've got Fiery in the top right and TA for Life in the bottom left. And I'm honestly not sure how this game is going to go because Cybern is probably going to be stronger mid-game. Aeon's going to have the Harby Rush and most likely air control. I am tempted to say that Fiery is going to be fighting for his life on this one because he is at somewhat of an endgame faction disadvantage and versus a player who is theoretically better, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. On this map, one of the problems is this map is deceptively large, so your expansion has to be very fast and very careful. You got to secure these groups of 4 mass extractors out on the outside edges. You need factories out here so that you can stream units in 2 separate groups. You don't really have to worry about the middle because there are so many freaking T1 point defense that to chew through that and send an army through would take several minutes. So you generally leave the middle alone in the beginning of the game until you have T2 units online. Honestly, most games I don't see these mechs taken. And of course, same thing in reverse. Now, a very effective raid is going to be to push hunters across the map ASAP and try to snag these engineers. And to counter that, the meta is to send an engineer with a tank and a scout, and the tank should be able to defend the engineer from the labs. Although I have seen labs kill the engineer before the tank can kill the lab, which is kind of hysterical to watch, but I don't know how that's going to go. And then, of course, T1 bombers everywhere, like we see in a lot of games. A lot of air factories going down here. Well, 2 anyway. We got 2 air factories with maximum adjacency bonus and 2 T1 land factories that are probably going to be feeding engineers in a small amount of early land units to these outside expansions where all of your building is actually going to take place. Then, of course, you've got the large wings on each side with tons of mass extractors out there, 8 in total, and a small amount of reclaim in the back. This is mostly tree-type reclaim. Not really worth a whole lot, and then we've got some rocks on the outside edges, and then a ring around most of these rock formations. So there is a pretty good bit of reclaim here, but not all of it is accessible right from the get-go. So you got to kind of be careful how you manage that. You can see these engineers are zapping those rocks up. I think they're like 5 or 10 mass apiece, if I'm not totally mistaken, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, the reclaim's not rising very quickly. We're at 900 reclaim 3 minutes into the game, which is a decent amount. Yes, it is a fair bit of reclaim, but not as much as some maps have. TA for Life is going to throw out a lot of early air. We've got 2 air scouts out already and then an interceptor out to prevent the inevitable bomber that will surely be coming from the northern side. And interceptors building for Fiery as well. Looks like they both took a defensive posture. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I do believe that TA for Life is going to get the upper hand here because he got his out earlier. Going for 2 interceptors. Let's see if he's got a bomber in the works here. Nope, more interceptors. Power generators going down in adjacency configuration. This is key right here. When you see 1 versus 1 play, your eco management is even more vital than it is in team games because you can't lean on other players for power overflow. You have to build 100% of your power, and if you don't build enough, you're going to stall, which is disastrous. So this adjacency is critical. It allows you to build fewer power generators to push the same amount of units, and that means that you have more mass to spend on other things. If you did not build them adjacent like this, you would not be able to push 2 air factories and this many land factories off of that amount of P-gen. So you got to be very, very careful with that. And that is one thing that does set apart the better 1 versus 1 players from the lower rankings, is their ability to multitask and micromanage their ecos and their troop movements at the same time without losing track of everything. It's something that I definitely have not mastered yet. Got a Spirit and an Aurora out here. The Aurora will be able to take the Mantis as long as it does not get in range. And as I'm saying that, the Mantis is pursuing the Aurora like a madman. And as you can see, with double the health, that Mantis is going to win easily. Very, very easily. TA for Life is pushing scouts with his tanks. That is always incredibly critical. I know I say this every time that I have a cast where Aeon is involved, but seriously, guys, you cannot forget about it. You have to have radar because the attack range is larger than the vision radius on the Aurora, and you have half the health. So if you don't have radar, you're going to die. That is a guaranteed certainty, which is kind of repetitively redundant, but whatever. Got a T1 bomber pushing out now. That is going to head towards the southern side. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up some engineers and preferably some expansioneers. As long as you can peg those engineers down that are heading towards the outside edges, you will be slowing the expansion of your opponent and restricting the amount of mass that they can pull in. And as you can see over here, we do have a slight advantage for Fiery. He's pulling 25 mass per tick as opposed to TA with 19 mass per tick, but TA is definitely building way more power, and I think that is going to come into play a little bit later when he tries to push the air game a little harder. Aeon owns the skies in T2, and if you can take advantage of that, then you can put yourself very far forward, especially if you couple it with that T3 rush with the Harbingers. 1 engineer down, and Interceptor's closing on that poor little Forsaken bomber with no escort. And he is down. Alrighty then, let's get a factory count up here. We've got 22 mass per tick at this exact moment, but heavy reclaim going on. We got 1,200 in the coffers, and that is feeding a grand total of 7 land factories and 2 air factories. TA for Life reclaiming 3,000, far and away more than Fiery has, and you can see even though he has a much higher power income, he is still barely balanced, and that is because he is burning off all of that reclaim that he's pulling in. He only has 4 land factories, but he is teching up his mexas. This means he is playing towards the late game, which is going to be very dangerous for Fiery, but that is a fine line to walk, because if you invest too much into eco, that dreaded Mantis rush, Cybern will overwhelm you. So it's going to be a war between 2 different mindsets and 2 different play styles here. We do have T2 land on the field for Fiery. He has not teched a single mex, but it looks like he's doing a brilliant job of expanding, and he is going to get that early T2 on the field. That is going to assist him versus the Auroras, because if you have well-microed Auroras, Mantis do actually have a little bit of a hard time dealing with them because of the range issues. However, if you can push Rhinos or even better, Hoplites covered by some radar, you can take out those units from a pretty good range, or at least match ranges with them, and you will come out better in the end. As well, you can push out mobile flak, which is a good thing to keep by your ACU when there are potentially mercies around. Not a good way to end a game. I know it's super cheesy, but mercy snipe is a legitimate thing, and it does happen quite frequently. TA for Life pulling far ahead of Fiery on mass per tick. He is pulling in a steady 45 plus reclaim, whereas Fiery is only pulling in a, well, there we go. Hold on. He is power stalling. That's why he's going crazy. It is, I'm going to say 30-ish plus reclaim. Power stall is a brutal mistress and one that will get you into a ton of trouble. Here's the hoplites. Exactly as I was expecting. We have T1 engineers coming out of 1, support factory spitting out T2 units, and that is going to put hoplites onto the field, which need to be moving to the front to take care of these before all the eco gets knocked out. We do have an expansion on the northern side, and the T1 point defense, the bane of the Aurora's existence, has gone down next to that mass extractor, so unless a T1 artillery comes around, which it is not, then that is going to be a position that will hold. This is the biggest disadvantage of having all of your factories way back in your base. You can't really get units all the way over here very quickly unless you drop them. And sometimes that doesn't really work out for you. There's T1 artillery in the middle. You can see those point defense that I was talking about. And dragging in. I actually do not know how much reclaim is in the middle here. I know that the civilian buildings are deceptive, but that right there is a T3 mass fabricator, which holds a buttload of mass, especially for the early game. So if you can snag that, it is actually a very, very good thing. That artillery is going to try and take out the Mantis. Here comes the engineer. No, don't lose your engineer. Oh well. That was going to be some good reclaim, but now, not anymore. Oh well. Let's see here. ACU moving up the right-hand side, that is going to be a gun upgrade, which on this map is kind of strange, to be honest. This map is way, way too spread out to be pulling a gun upgrade. And we do already have T2 air down here and a T2 power generator, so TA for Life is going to be pushing multitudes of swift winds, which is going to lock everything down until T3 air hits the field. Realistically speaking, Aeon can pull swift winds out and hold air till the end of the game in a 1-versus-1 match, as long as you can keep enough pressure on your opponent to prevent a T3 land or T3 air swap. And right under the nose of TA for Life, Fiery is going to leech out 2/3 of the mass in that mass fabricator. That is kind of hilarious. And still power stalling like all get out. 9k reclaim in the belt and 11k for TA for Life. So it is kind of catching up, but the power problem is becoming incredibly critical for Fiery. I don't know where he's even pulling his power from at the moment. He's got a couple of rings of P-gens in the back. He is pulling 1.7. Well, no, he's not. That is a adjusted reclaim number around 1400-ish from 44, count them, 44 T1 power generators, but alas, it is not enough. And this is the perfect strike force right here. We have a mobile flak, we have 3 hoplites, and a stealth. All you're missing is a mole. If you had a mole in that for extended range, extended radar, where you didn't have to have a scout overhead or anything, that would pretty much be able to obliterate anything at this point in the game. Because I believe, if I'm not totally mistaken, the hoplite actually outranges T1 point defense. So you can just oh so casually stand out at range and pound the T1 point defense to death, and then calmly walk over everything. Which is kind of a cool thing, but also annoying at the same time for the other player. It just depends on which side of the fence you're on. We do have a base going up in the middle here. TA for Life is going to suck up some of this reclaim. I know it may not be that much, but every little bit of mass helps. And this will also allow him to lock down this position and gain these mass extractors. And any mass extractors you can snag, if you can hold them for 18 seconds, they pay for themselves, and after that, you're ahead. So, no reason not to. Hoplites pulling in, as I was saying, and overstepping. That was probably not scouted, not on the radar, and that means that Fiery is going to lose those units. He does have them sighted now, but it is far too late. Losing several of his hoplites, having to get the hell out of Dodge ASAP. There is so little health on these things. I mean, even vetted, it's barely got 600 HP. Those things are absolutely paper in the face of anything else. TA for Life, just totally ignoring the expansion. He's just sending his greedy little engineers out here to get their sneaky fingers on all of these rocks. Because reclaim is the real concern here. We all know that. He's capping his T2 mexes, he's pushing T2 upgrades on his expansions, and I'm sure before long he'll be making these areas more secure. He's already got a T2 out on the front here. He'll be securing some of these a little bit better and pushing upgrades on those as well, I would imagine. And he is pushing power like nobody's business. 2.2k, he's overflowing 500 and pushing for more power. He is probably going to push for T3 air, and this is also a setup. There it is, Harbingers. Harbingers are on the field versus T2 only from Fiery, and that is going to mess his world up because Harbingers are brutal at this point in the game. This is the prime time for Aeon T3, right when they only have to deal with T2 units, maybe a handful of T3. Harbingers are very, very strong, but you have to have an abundance of power because these little guys suck down 25 per tick to maintain that shield, which is about half of their HP. So you absolutely, positively cannot power stall when you're pushing early Harbingers, otherwise you will lose those very valuable units that are standing between you and losing your entire map control. This is the end game that TA was playing towards. He only needs to maintain the mass he needs for T3 land. He can give up a good portion of map control as long as he's snagging some reclaim around the edges, in the middle, and teching up his mexes, and then once he gets Harbingers on the field, he will regain everything that he has lost. Fiery, T1 commander, and I do believe that is a stealth gun comm that is actually lethal for Harbingers, but he is pushing way, way out close to the base, and he is going to get scouted. That stealth doesn't really do a whole lot of good when you have a pile of Swift Winds over your head, although they are going to fly by, and if they did stick around, there's a thoroughly unhealthy amount of flak in the back here. Lots and lots of interceptors. In fact, enough interceptors that TA is going to lose every single Swiftwind. Holy smokes. I was not expecting that. TA made the worst possible turn in that situation, and that is going to give Fiery complete and total air control, land control. He's holding most of the map, although he is having to deal with a Harbinger problem on the left side. And he now has his ACU literally in the base of TA for life, as long as he doesn't die. See, that's the biggest problem here, is if he dies, he has to maintain his flak and air coverage because mercies. That's all you need to know. Mercies. They are a real threat to an ACU like this. However, if he can get his ACU in far enough and kill this T3 HQ, that is going to cause some major, major headaches for TA for life. I can't believe Fiery is overextending this far. This is ridiculous. Also, oh, good. He has balanced his power. I was about to say, if he's having as many power issues as he was before, he may not actually be able to overcharge, but he is going to be able to, and there it goes, shedding a lot of health, but he is vetting. Harbingers have so much damage, 375 DPS, and no, overcharge, my friend. And there's the vet, 2K. Man, 2 or 3 more seconds under that, and he would have been history. T2 gunship harassment is real on this map. Got it moving around the north edge. I'm sure that Fiery thinks he's doing a world of good down here, but there go the Oblivion turrets. And if he doesn't back up El Pronto, he is going to die. That is all there is to it. He's going to have to retreat all the way back across the map. This was a complete and total waste of time. Granted, it was... Oh, no. Sniper boats. You better get some terrain in between you and that sniper bot, because if you don't, all it's going to take is 1 hit to kill that ACU. I think that's how much it is. Maybe it'll take 2 shots. It will be 2 shots, but thankfully he has a little bit of terrain in the way, and these sniper bots are moving, so they aren't quite as accurate as they should be. He is maintaining way more land control than I thought he would, though. The Harbinger rush did not work out nearly as well as TA thought it would, and he had to stop building Harbingers in order to get the sniper bots online and deal with his ACU problem, which is quite aggravating, I can assure you. I have had things like this happen. Where is... Ah, the Rhinos got into the back. The ACU baited the sniper bots out, and these Rhinos were able to kill off the sniper bots. So Fiery is going to be safe for the moment, but he's walking right back in. Have you not learned your lesson by now? There is now flak. There is the potential for sniper bots, but he's pushing hoplites in the other side. Apparently this is actually going to work. How on earth? This is the most on edge I've ever seen an ACU in a 1 versus 1. This ladder match, you just don't risk your commander like that on a map this big, but he's doing it and he's not dead yet. pro level luck. That's what this is. Pro level luck. He has got a vast horde of engineers everywhere, throwing up land factories towards the front line to try to stream in more units, and he is now completely and totally unprotected. He's got interceptors in the back. He has no more flak. Here come the mercies that I was discussing earlier. There is only one, but all it will take is two. And here comes the mercy. Nope, interceptors have spotted it. They're going to shoot it down, but Fiery is going to lose most of his interceptors to that flak. Jesters! You have got to be kidding me. There's a swarm of jesters coming in. This is like a list of unexpected circumstances. T1 anti-air going down. TA running for his shields, but he's standing next to the power generators. Flak going, he's going to save himself. He's going to save himself. That flak is going to get built, and that is going to absolutely slaughter those jesters and the interceptors above. Yeah, he's going to retreat, seeing that thing going up. He's not going to stay in town. Valuable, valuable gunships that he needs to get out of there and save alive. He can harass these, however. Apparently he's not going to. And the ACU is retreating very, very quickly towards the safety of the base. Now, TA for life has survived, but Fiery has a lot of map control. Look at TA's eco, though. TA, for only having this left, is still pulling 160 mass per tick plus reclaim. It looks like he's got 140-ish real numbers, and he now has all... wow, he's already mopped most of it up. He's got all of this mass to mop up over here. Lots of T2 wrecks on this side. We've got all the hoplites. We've got all this other crazy stuff. He's going to be able to reclaim himself out of just about anything. And then despite having basically whole map control, Fiery is only pulling 47 mass per tick-ish. Looks like the real Why is this acting so crazy? This is really, really unreliable numbers here. Very strange. 4 vet almost healed back up. That is so crazy. Jester's pulling in, and they're going to snipe off one of the sniper bots before they're going to have to retreat in the face of that flak. Multiple sniper bots coming online, paired with Harbingers, trying to push that ACU back. The ACU is trying to maintain pressure because he doesn't want to give up this foothold he's got. We got T2 HQ for some reason. Who knows why? Probably a misclick. Accidentally did that instead of a support. Nice harassment in the middle as well. This is exactly what you want to be doing, is causing problems in as many areas as you possibly can at once so that your opponent has too much to think about. Although at this point, I think Fiery spread himself a little thin. You can see he has no more large clumps of units on the left side. It is all stringing hoplites. And then on the right-hand side, he basically only has the little clump around his commander, which is currently taking huge amounts of sniper fire. This is when you need to literally run for the hills, because if you can get a terrain formation in between you and the sniper bots, you are going to have a much easier time of it. If you can clear this bump, but no, he's only got 3k health. I'm going to laugh hysterically if he ends up losing at this point to a couple of sniper bots, but it looks like the sniper bots, the bait and switch worked again, pulling the sniper bots into a clump of rhinos with the ACU. But now we have 3 Harbingers. If he gets really lucky with a pair of overcharges, nope, Harbingers are spread 1200, overcharge to the face for the 5th veterancy. Well, veterancy saved you, but it is not going to save you again. You have your maximum 5 vet, and yes, the regen is brutal at 33 per second, but no more health bumps. And we have more Harbingers on the way. That means he actually has to get clear, and he can't rely on that little HP boost every time he bumps up another veterancy level. The overcharges are real, though. There we go. Okay, nice little clump of hoplites built up again. That Harbinger was killed off by those hoppers. And let's check out the rest of the stuff going on in base. We do have a nice little T2 PGen formation back here. We have a few T2 mass extractors, but not actually exactly two T2 mass extractors. If I were him, I would be upgrading like this one, because you get a better adjacency bonus from a T2 mechs than you do from T1. So if he upgrades these that are in his little clumps of support factories. That is going to allow him to build units cheaper, which is both going to give him the extra 4 income from this and then -4 expenditures or so. I'm pulling a random number out of my hat on that one. He's going to gain a few mass per ticks from the adjacency on those factories now that he has them already. All right, lots and lots of air factories trying to maintain control there. Still building mercies, hoping for that critical misstep that will allow him to plant a mercy directly into the face of this ACU. I still can't decide whether it is complete luck or great skill that has kept Fiery alive. I think it's a combination, because we have a little bit of terrain that's assisting him. The rough terrain does cause some misfires of the sniper bot. It's the constant motion and also some lucky veterancy ticks, but the sniper bots are bearing down on him again. But finally we have bricks, and it's too late. Oh my word. 2 sniper bot shots, a mercy that got through by chance, and the combined fire of a couple close-in units. He had it. He had interceptors right behind his ACU. He had the bricks right there, and dead. Seriously, though, that was very good play. Very good play from both of these guys. TA did a fantastic job of maintaining his strategy all the way through the game. And this is actually something that I talked about in one of my tutorials a while back, because some people were asking me, when do I switch to T2? When do I do this? When do I do this? And SupCom is a fluid game. Basically, you just need to decide on one strategy and stick to it. And that is exactly what TA for Life did. From the very, very beginning, minimalistic unit count, upgrading T2 mexes early, and fortifying himself in the base. And basically, he led Fiery to his own demise, because Fiery expended 100% of his eco into combat units and never could quite get the upper hand. So well done all the way around from both of these guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that game. That was a pretty good one to watch. Right on the edge of your seat. So much stuff happening. That is awesome. All right. So I'm going to play a game with you guys. I don't know what I'm going to host yet. I have not decided. But for now, as always, I'm opening up the floor to any kind of questions that you could possibly have about SupCom, about YouTube, about FAF, about anything you want to ask about me personally, whatever. I'll answer a few questions. And let's see. I don't think there have been any questions up there. I do need to link. Let me see. I think I can link in the chat. I may not be able to. People are asking for the FAF page. Let me go over here real quick, hit up YouTube, and grab that link for you. Holy crap, it's a long jumble of letters. I'm gonna cut it out and see if it'll paste over here. Ah, yes, I can post links, but the rest of you cannot, because I am the almighty Brink administrator of this chat. The best way to escape a Turkish prison. I am not at liberty to discuss that. The agents that dealt with my case on return to the United States said that I could only stay here without being extradited on the condition that I never share that secret. So unfortunately, you are out of luck. Please use the Control-Shift thingy that shows the reclaim. I totally forgot about that. I have not actually tried it in game. I know that it exists, and I have not actually used it. Shame on me. I need a vote on what map I want to host. I don't know. I may just pick one. Who knows? Let's see. And fair warning, I am going to try to keep it like under 1800 rank, because a lot of times people join in who can't compete with the 2K players. So we're just going to solve that problem and host a little bit lower rank range. Let me turn off my mods here, and we need to pick a map. Let's see. Ooh, I haven't played Mesmerizing Paradise in a while. That's only a 4 versus 4, and it's kind of a long game, though. Let's do something else. There's also Hilly Plateau. Ooh, Cauldron EP. That just popped into my head, and I think that is epic. Okay, welcome to the puke green map that actually is awesome. Just ignore the color and come on in. We'll have a good time. And I'm probably just going to do random slots so that we don't have any ultra serious balance discussions. And we probably don't want left versus right. Oops, I did not mean to click that. I want north versus south. What did that change? 1000 unit cap, explored, assassination. Let's do infinite timeouts just in case. Normal speed. We want share till death. Wrecked. Okay. That looks good. All right. I'll wait on you people. Okay. Let's see. If you're building sniper bots, you better build T3 mobile shields too. That is correct, except that Aeon don't have T3 mobile shields, so it probably needs to be T2. Zap, why are there not more videos of you versus Belle? Does she beat you too easily? Actually, no, she just has not been playing. So you need to bug her if you want her to play. That is a solution to this problem. I think the problem is, namely, that we share a perfectionist trait. And because she has the perfectionist mindset, she doesn't want to play in front of everyone unless she can play it perfectly. And as we all know, Subcom is not a game of perfect playing. So, I don't know. I've kind of given up at this point on getting her on the channel actually playing Subcom. Okay, if you have just half the mass in sniper bots versus a monkey lord, they like 3 to 4 shot him. Yes, that is correct as long as they're standing still because they have wide misses if they are moving. Let's see.
Group formed.
Is the new balance patch live? If you play the beta version, yes. There are 2 selections. There's FAF beta, which is at the top, and then FAF. And if you host FAF beta, it has the balance patch attached to it. Anything but sentence.
Group formed.
The lane defense game. Survival. I've already hosted this. I'm going to pin that to the wall, and we will do that next week because we have not played Survival in a while. Have to enable it, I think. Yeah, I'll tinker with my settings, and that should be fine. Do Betrayal Ocean? No, no, we're not going to do that.
Group formed.
Okay. The size of this map is 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers, which means that an ACU rush can get you to the other side in about 2 minutes. So, not that big of a map. Not at all. Mass adjacency works out pretty well on quantum gateways, except for the fact that it is getting nerfed in the next patch because SACUs are just plain too strong. And then that also answers the second question, asking, curious how the balance of SACUs being able to do gate resource allocation again changes the eco in the game. I cannot remember the exact numbers right off the top of my head, and to be completely honest, it's not that important for our purposes right now, but the the adjacency of quantum gateways has been nerfed very, very hard. I mean, like more than halved. And then also the build time has been increased on most of the SACUs, and you do not get the adjacency bonus for units that are being assisted. Like any build power that is assisting, the portion of the unit built by the assisting unit does not have the adjacency applied. So building resource allocation SACUs right off the bat, they build very slowly. You don't get that much of a bonus, and if you assist them to get them out quicker, then you don't get the bonus. And that's, I mean, it's going to be significantly better. It's still going to be a little bit of a bonus, but it's going to take you a long time to realize that bonus, and I don't think it's going to affect the game very much. Does FAF own the rights to SupCom or something of that nature? No, we do not. The unofficial word on the street is that it is trying to be acquired, but honestly, I don't put a whole lot of faith in that because I don't know how attached. There are multiple companies holding separate portions of the IP for different things related to SupCom. So it's, I don't know. That's a legal question for a lawyer. I have no idea. I just know that we don't have the rights to it, but it's kind of sort of free usage, and also we're the ones generating what little sales that SupCom has left, so people basically just leave us alone. So, yeah. All right. Let's X up here. Try to get this thing launched. Hi-yo! Connection problems! Away! We all know how that works in a dozen-player game, because, yeah. Merp. Taquito's in here. This is going to be an interesting game. Alright, sorry to the people that I have to kick, but I have to kick you because we have to launch. Square Enix, I believe, went under and sold off most of their IPs. There was a press release about it, and like they had the list of everyone who held different portions of Square Enix properties. Yeah, Nanotech. Nordic holds SupCom 1, Square Enix have 2, and publishing rights. And then there's a third company mixed up in it somehow. I'm not sure how. So, yeah. It is a legal mess. It really is. Basically what FAF is doing, come on, X people. Basically what FAF is doing, anything we change, adjust, bug fix, or do, we are adjusting the Lua tables and anything outside of the source code in the game. Because we don't have the copyrights and because they haven't released the code, we don't have any of the source code to it. So we're kind of slapping band-aids on some of the stuff, but this is still by far the best strategy game that I've ever played ever. And Raptor is correct. I know Wargaming is involved in it somehow. Oh, GPG went to Wargaming. Okay, that makes sense. I knew Wargaming came up in it somewhere. I just wasn't sure where. All right, it looks like I'm Aeon. I drew the Aeon out of the random pile, and it is lagging like a mofo. Let's see here. That is not what I wanted. I have a new keyboard, and I don't know where all the keys are right off the bat. Me! To recasting software. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. And apparently it's not gonna... Well, I may not have the bandwidth to do it today, guys. Apparently I don't. Sorry, guys. I would be able to play today, but apparently I'm having... Let's do the monitor and run a speed test. I'd been having some trouble with my modem last... Holy cow. Warcraft is buying out all the advertising. Good. My connection is bottoming out. Well, that's fun. Apparently my ISP is having issues. We're pulling on one of steady bandwidth signatures I've ever seen. Horrendous.